Hello everyone. Today we are going to start with our next chapter of history, that is rural life and society. All these other topics that we will be going through: land revenue policies till 1857, effect of land revenue policies on agriculture, plantation farming for growing cash crops, and peasant revolts. In the pre-colonial period, the Indian economy was predominantly an agricultural sector. Industries existed, but they were also dependent on the agricultural sector. As the British were mainly interested in furthering the interest of their industrialists and traders, they followed such economic policy which suited and promoted their economic interest in India. The new patterns of land ownership and revenue policies that the British brought with them demolished existing agricultural system in India and led to the decline of villagers' condition. Here we will focus on the economic policies imposed by the British and their impact on Indian peasantry and agriculture. Now let's start with the first topic of the chapter, Ijradari system. After the Battle of Buxar, Britishers obtained Diwani of Bengal, Bihar and Orissa in 1765. They continued with the traditional methods of revenue collection. Now they have to think of administrating land and organizing its revenue resources. It has to be done in a way that could yield enough revenue to meet the growing expenses of the company. The company needed regular income to build an army, train them and expand them for conquering more parts in India. The effort of the company is to increase revenue as much as it could and buy fine cotton clothes as cheaper as possible. Before 1865, the company had purchased goods in India by importing gold and silver from Britain. Now the revenue collected in Bengal could finance the purchase of goods for export. Baron Hastings became the first Governor General of India. He introduced Ijradari system, according to which right to revenue collection was given to the highest bidder, that is contractors, for a period of 5 years. It increased problems for the peasants as the bidding was done by rich merchants who were merely interested in collecting maximum revenue without taking into consideration of the productivity of the land. As auction of land was periodical, new zamindars took no interest in the improvement of the agricultural land. As a result, nobody was benefited. The British company did not get expected income, the zamindars felt insecure and peasants were oppressed. Permanent settlement 1793. A new revenue system called permanent settlement was introduced by the governor Lord Cornwallis. By this settlement, zamindar were appointed to collect revenue from farmers and they were exploiting them. The tax amount under permanent settlement was fixed permanently. Under this system, 90% of the revenue collected by the zamindar went to the company and 10% was kept by the zamindar. Lord Cornwallis made this settlement permanent by regulations in 1793. It meant that the company was assured of financial security, that is, a regular supply of income even in case of bad harvest. It also increased British income as the rate of revenue was very high. As zamindar were made the owners of the land, this class became loyal to the British. But the immediate effect of the permanent settlement on zamindars was disastrous. Many of them could not realize land revenue from the peasants and consequently could not pay the money to the British in time. Thus, they had no choice but sell their mortgage part of the land to enable them to pay revenue. The cultivators, on the other hand, were oppressed and had no right over the land. As the revenue was strictly collected, the peasants were forced to borrow money from the moneylenders and landlords. When failed to repay money, their mortgage land was taken. They had to work as landless labor or beggar, which made their life miserable. Thus, permanent settlement destroyed the agriculture and the life of the peasants. And they were forced to migrate to the cities. Now let's talk about the advantages of the permanent settlement. During adverse climate conditions also, Britishers were getting regular income. The new landlords were appointed and they became loyal to the British. Income of the company increased. So all these are the advantages of permanent settlement. Now second is Mahalwari system. According to this system, the Mahal or the village estates were responsible for the payment of revenue jointly. The Mahalwari system was introduced by Holt Mackenzie in 1822, explaining fixed revenue system, that is permanent settlement, is incorrect. Each village group had village headmen who will collect taxes from the farmer and submit it to the Britisher. Under the system, there was no rule for zamindar and village headman was given importance. The system was introduced in western part of Uttar Pradesh, parts of Madhya Pradesh and Punjab. There was not a fixed amount was charged and amount was revised periodically on the basis of situation of production. Third is Rotwari system. Between 1820 and 1827, the governor of Madras Presidency, Thomas Munro, introduced Rotwari system. The word Roth means peasant. According to this system, the peasants or the Roths were considered the owners of the land and the land revenue was collected directly from them. The rate of revenue was fixed at roughly half of the total produce. It was settled for a period of 30 years, after which it could be revised. Through the Rotwari settlement, recognized the peasants as the owner of the land. High rate of revenue made them dependent on moneylenders. Likewise, we are finished with the part 1 video. Rest chapter will be continued in the part 2 video.